I'm looking forward to filing my I-400.
Your N-400.
Sorry,
Yeah,
my
for your citizenship.
Right. However, I won't be in the United States for 5 years until about sometime in June, but I was told I could actually...
You can file 90 days before the 5-year anniversary.
Okay, before the 5 years
90
anniversary.
days.
No.
90 days, which is not 3 months, because 3 months is 93 days. So make sure you count 90 days.
I filed for my citizenship, and I went in for the test like a month ago.
Right.
And I got another letter in the mail. I didn't pass the test, but I got a letter in the mail. So I want to know, the thing that I did before, are they going to do the same thing over again? I didn't pass the writing test. I got a letter saying I have to come back and write something.
So you're going to have to pass it this time, or you're going to get denied.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So what about all the police records and stuff that I did? Are they going to come up again or no?
No, because police records are police records. They don't change.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I got my green card in 2012, and my son got his in 2013. But during that time, we get misdemeanor, so we want to know if we can still apply for our citizenship.
You got your green card in 2012, and what happened?
We got misdemeanor in 2014.
What was the misdemeanor for?
Petty theft.
How many times? One time?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you get your green card?
Through marriage.
To a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Are you still married to this man?
No, he disappeared.
He disappeared. What was your punishment for the petty theft? Did you have to pay a fine? Did you go to jail? What happened?
A fine.
That was it? Community service?
Yeah.
Probation?
No, just fine.
Just pay a fine and that's it, never to be seen again. You didn't have to do any probation or anything like that?
I had to do a workshop and a course.
Uh-huh. When
Yeah.
was that workshop over?
It was only for a day.
Okay, so whenever you're not eligible for citizenship yet, you have to wait 5 years from the end of that case, including any probation or workshop you did. You generally in these cases, you get some sort of probation or something. So I'm surprised that you just paid a fine and a one-day workshop, but it's possible. I'm not saying it didn't happen. We would need to see your disposition, look at your punishment, and from whenever the punishment is over, count 5 years, and that's when you can do your citizenship.
How does moral character affect your citizenship interview?
You need to prove 5 years good moral character. If you have something in your 5 years that doesn't necessarily mean you have bad moral character, but it relates to something that was bad moral character 20 years ago, they can relate it back. So for example, as an example, let's say 20 years ago, you were arrested and convicted for a shoplifting offense. And then you had a clean record. And then 1 year before you file your citizenship, you got arrested again for a shoplifting offense, but they threw the case out. So all you have on your record is that you have a conviction from 20 years ago for shoplifting. But now you have this arrest that in of itself would not be bad moral character, because you can get arrested, you can have a bad day. But they say, you know what, you got arrested for something in this 5 years that relates back to something you did 20 years ago. We think you have bad moral character. That's how they can use it sometimes. Sometimes it's just you got arrested 5, 6, 7, 8 times. You don't have any convictions. You don't have anything that makes you deportable. But because you got arrested so often, they think you're a person of bad moral character. Perhaps you were working and didn't pay your taxes. You're a person of bad moral character. Perhaps you don't pay your child support. You're a person of bad moral character. So just because you don't have deportable offenses doesn't mean you are a good person. They may consider you a person of bad moral character, depending on the situation.
Thank you very much for your all guidance. I applied my citizenship, and now they send me RFE. I respond the RFE before their required time, and after they took like a year, now they finally scheduled me for my oath ceremony. So between my interview to oath ceremony, I got one normal speeding ticket, which is local ticket is 25 speed limit.
That's okay. You can be a bad driver and become a citizen. That's perfectly fine.
I sent them back for not guilty, and I received that letter. They scheduled me for in DMV court for the hearing. So I can take that with me?
Yes, you're fine. A traffic violation. It's not a traffic violation. It's fine. You'll be a citizen.
I did my citizenship interview on October 9th. The lady told me that 2 weeks after, I would get a letter in the mail for my oath ceremony. And I'm waiting up to this minute and still haven't received anything.
Why do you think you didn't get it?
I did. Everything is fine. I never got in any trouble or anything.
And when was your interview? How long ago?
It was on October 9th.
All right. So if after you pass your interview, they didn't make a decision in 120 days, you have a right to bring your case to a federal judge. It's called a de novo review, and force them to make you a citizen. So you can even threaten that and say, I'm going to go to a federal judge de novo review. There's no reason why you're violating my rights 6-7 months later. I'm entitled to my citizenship. So the only way to protect your rights is go to court. Let a federal judge make a decision. You threaten it, it'll happen very fast. And you just can't say, I'm going to do it. You have to put the whole lawsuit together, send it to immigration, say, you see this lawsuit? It's going to court tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, and I can help you with that. If your daughter took her citizenship test and went for her citizenship interview more than 6 months ago, and she still hasn't been sworn in, that means they're investigating her to see if she qualifies to become a citizen. Maybe there's something in her background or something in her prior immigration applications. It's very unlikely, but also possible. They just completely forgot about her. Either way, I think it would be time to start speaking to an attorney. Yes, if you win the visa lottery, you can enter the United States with a green card, join the military immediately, and become a U.S. citizen 1 year later. Are there any hidden setbacks? I guess you can go to war and lose your life.
My parents is a citizen, right? They became a citizen in 1996, and I was only 17 years old. So do that make me automatically a citizen?
Were you a green card holder at that time?
Yes.
And you said both parents were citizens?
Yes.
And you lived in the United States with them?
Yes.
You are a U.S. citizen.
I kind of figured that I was a citizen because I tell everybody I'm a citizen.
You are.
Now my only thing is I lost my green card, and that's supposed to be like my birth certificate.
Well, no, your green card's not your birth certificate. Your green card's a green card. All right. So what you need to do is file for a certificate of citizenship. And the certificate of citizenship, you need to prove that your parents were citizens before you were 18 and that you had a green card before you were 18. You can get all of those records by doing Freedom of Information Act requests for both your parents' records and your records, and then take the relevant documents from the Freedom of Information Act requests, file it with the certificate of citizenship. You'll get a certificate of citizenship, and you can take that certificate of citizenship and get a U.S. passport. And now you will have two pieces of evidence that you're a citizen, which is your certificate of citizenship and your passport. But your birth certificate is still your birth certificate.
Where do I go?
To me. All right, because if you're walking around thinking your green card's your birth certificate, you need a lawyer to help you at this point. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.